One of the skills I often teach my clients so that they can continue the healing process between sessions is a basic meditation. What I'm going to do now is guide you through a basic 3-step meditative process. It's very much a process of checking into your body rather than checking out, very much potentiating the consciousness, directing awareness into the body, and from there going into a more mindful, perceptive state, and from there reaching in a little deeper to activate with a little imagery the emotional and feeling system in the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with just some simple access breathing. Go ahead and breathe in. Hold it for a few seconds. And then breathe out nice and slow. All the way out. Breathe out for a while. Really focus on that out breath and notice what's tight in your body. And as soon as your body wants to breathe in again, go ahead and let it. Breathe in again, fairly deep, nice and deep. And once you get to the top, hold it for a few seconds. Then breathe out nice and slow. It activates a good sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic system flow. With the slow breath out, you're activating the parasympathetic relaxation response. So keep on doing that. Quick breath in all the way to the top. Not too quick, not too hard, but just bring it all the way up naturally. And then a slow breath out. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to notice your body's cues as you breathe out, as you're engaging the parasympathetic relaxation response, you get a little more access to your feelings. Sometimes some aches and pains come up. That's okay. Notice them. Notice the aches and pains. Notice whatever comes up. And notice what little micro movements or shifts you can make based on your body's feedback and cues. So quick breath in, slow breath out. Notice what's tight. If you hold the breath for a while after you breathe in, it heightens the parasympathetic response. You just breathe in and hold it till you feel a little pressure in your chest, and you let it out slow. If there's some turbulence on the way in to your body, on noticing the body sensations, some people get that, especially if they've survived some trauma or they've had a lot of anxiety that has body manifestations in it. One of the things you can do is to sort of feel the boundaries of your container. You bring your right hand under your arm, kind of near the heart, in that area. Your left hand, bring it up to your other shoulder, and just feel the body while you continue to breathe. Feel the boundaries of you. There's a certain stabilizing that can come with that. So quick breath in, slow breath out. Notice what's tight. If it's hard to feel relief with that or access with that, go ahead and hold that breath at the top like we did at first. You breathe in, you hold it for a few seconds, and then you breathe out nice and slow, just feeling the sensations in your body as you breathe out. And so to start the somatic meditative process, go ahead and pay attention to where your seat connects with the seat you're sitting in. If you're sitting down, if you're standing, go ahead and notice where your feet connect to the ground and feel the weight of gravity as it sort of tugs on the middle of you down in that seat area. So it's a center point for you to be able to notice your relationship with gravity. Helps activate the proprioceptive and kinesthetic system in your body, the feelers from the inside. That's one of the big differences between your typical somatically based meditation and, say, traditional hypnosis would very much be the conscious awareness of sensations in the body and keeping with that, keeping the consciousness on, potentiating and directing the consciousness rather than depotentiating it and going into a more dissociated trance state. So go ahead and pay attention to that middle of you, whether you're sitting or standing, your relationship with gravity, the gentle feeling of being tugged down, and also the parts of you that are pushing up. Notice as you breathe and as you feel the body, where you can find yourself making space in the body or elongation. A lot of times as people breathe out and their muscles start to relax a little bit, they start to elongate a lot of times in the spine area. If you notice that, go ahead and let that happen. Notice how you find comfort with gravity, how you resituate yourself so that the weight of gravity doesn't feel so much if it was getting heavy on you. Now go ahead and pay attention to that middle of you, and now I'm going to ask you as you breathe in, whether you're doing the same kind of breathing we did at the beginning or just regular breathing, just imagine that you can see the air coming into your lungs. And as you breathe out, imagine that the air spreads out to every part of you. It spreads rapidly through your tissues, down to the tips of your toes, out to the tips of your fingers, and up to the top of your head. And if it helps, hold the image until you can feel the whole felt sense of the body. What I'm asking you to do here is feel the whole body, as much of it as you can, at the same time. It creates a rebalancing effect. So breathe in, breathe out, and imagine the air spreads to the very tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes, and the top of your head. Hold the image till you can feel the body. Again, if there's turbulence on the way in there, if you start to feel shaky or upset, don't stop the shaking. Go ahead and let it. That's part of the reset and release process. And just notice it and be curious about it, even if it feels a little odd. But then you can put a hand under your arm next to your heart on the right, your right arm. Put your left one up on your other shoulder and just feel the boundaries of you, if that helps stabilize you just enough to continue to tolerate that, if you're dealing with that. Now, what some people also do to access more of the sensation in the body is they like to imagine an energy field occupying the entire body. And as they imagine the image of that energy field filling their body, it helps them to just feel the body. The most important thing is actually putting your feelers on, your proprioceptors, your kinesthetic awareness structures. So just breathe, and if it helps you, then imagine an energy field occupying your body and hold the image until you can feel the whole felt sense of you, the feelings of your muscles on the inside of you, the feeling of being inside your own skin. Go ahead and breathe and just feel the sensation of being inside of you. Now, on an atomic level, you're not necessarily separate from everything in this world, but from a neurological standpoint, there's a certain portion of reality that very much feels like and acts like yours, and I'm inviting you to feel that right now. Whichever image helps you the most to feel the whole sense of you. Feel what it's like to be in your skin from the top of your head down through the middle of you, down to the bottoms of your feet, just feeling what it's like to be where you are, doing what you're doing right now, whether it's sitting, standing, driving, whatever it is, just feeling the felt sense of you. And if you are driving while you're listening to this, do be kind to yourself and do keep your awareness, your visual system, your ability to notice on while you do that. Continue to breathe and feel your body. The great thing is if you prefer to leave your eyes open while you do this, the proprioceptive system can very much be active while you're continuing to look at and observe other things. They're not mutually exclusive by any means. So breathe and feel the entire sensation of your body. If you've been trained in body scan and that helps you the very best to do that, then go ahead and engage in a body scan right now. And in a moment, I'll invite you to go to the next level. Continue to breathe. Continue to feel what it's like to be in your skin. Just notice the sensations, and if aches and pains come up, just give them the attention that they're crying out for, and do your best to look at them without judging them. And if you must judge them, or you must hate them because it's pain, and you're having a hard time with non-judgmentally noticing the pain, then I'll invite you to go ahead and accept that that's where you're at and not hate yourself. Just get to that bigger part of your neurological system by being able to non-judgmentally just notice that you're hating on the pain. Okay, and we'll go ahead to the next level now. Go ahead and stay in your body. If you're comfortable or more comfortable closing your eyes, go ahead and do so. And now I'm going to invite you to just pay attention to whatever seems to be around you. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and pay attention to the feeling of empty space around your body, however much of it there is. And particularly, I'm going to invite you to pay attention to the sounds, the empty spaces between the sounds, essentially the emptiness that sits behind all of the sounds that you hear. We're not able to really hear sounds unless there's a certain amount of contrast, emptiness between the sounds. So go ahead and just notice wherever the silence, the stillness peeks through the sound while you stay with the feeling of your body there. Turn your ears on. Notice that in between all the stuff that's there, there's emptiness, and in between all the sounds that are there, there's emptiness that peeks through as those little threads of sound come up and down and terminate. Some people like to imagine the analogy of a chessboard. On the surface of the chessboard, there's a game going on. There's capturing, there's winners, there's losers, there's moves and counter moves. But the board is very much a part of the game, critical to the game even. But it doesn't move. It doesn't change with the winning or losing, the moves or the counter moves. What I'm inviting you to do is essentially access the board of the chess game. Let the movements do what they do. Let the sounds come up and go down. And pay attention to the stillness that rests behind the sounds, the emptiness that wraps itself around all the stuff that's there. And access that ability to sense stillness and quietude within yourself. To be able to start to differentiate between where the quietude seems to rest within your own body as you notice the places of stillness or quietness or emptiness around you. For some people, it really helps them to close their eyes at this point and do that, but for some people, they really like to keep their eyes open. Just do what works for you and breathe. Stay in your body and notice the stillness. And in a moment here, we'll go to the next level. Continue to breathe. Continue to notice. If anything sort of irritates you, just go ahead and notice where the irritation shows up in your body. Notice the part that's happening inside of you versus the part that's happening out there. This is a critical skill for relief. Being able to notice what happens inside of you in response to what happens out there. To be able to be reflective on that. There's definitely a time and a place for being reflective, and a time and a place for being reactive. But for most of life, for non-urgent situations, being able to reflect on what's happening inside of you is a powerful skill for functioning in this world in a non-reactive, very responsive way. Okay, we'll go to the next level now. For this level, I'm going to invite you to use some imagery here and to exercise a little bit of faith in science. Scientists tell us that every seemingly solid object in this world, including your own body, is almost entirely made of empty space. Empty space swirling with movement and life. Tiny bits of matter moving around in vast oceans of empty space. And in your body's case, those little bits of matter are held together in their movement patterns by some energetic something that's you. Now, whether or not you believe it, go ahead and borrow it for a metaphor right now, and just imagine your body being entirely made of empty space with little bits of matter swirling around. Swirling with movement and life, held together in that energetic pattern by whatever it is that is you. Breathe and imagine your body filled with empty space, swirling with movement and life. If you start to feel ungrounded or uncomfortable with this, go ahead and feel something while you're doing that so that you can maintain some sense of solidarity and grounding Otherwise, if you find it pleasant, go ahead and stay with just noticing the emptiness that's too fine for your senses, too fine for your perceptual field. We've pretty much gone here from feeling the body, feeling the sensations in the body, to noticing the emptiness and stillness within your perceptual field, and now we're going here to the emptiness that's too fine for your senses to notice, by imagining your body as empty space swirling with movement and life. There's a certain sensation that comes with noticing the emptiness within. Even though it's too fine for your senses follow the direction of your attention. And it underscores a certain reality, that things that seem solid and immovable in this world are in a state of flux and movement, and that energy focused in the right direction, at the right speed, at the right time, can and regularly does create change where it didn't seem possible. And it also underscores the reality that you are not a thing. You are a process and a power in this world, interacting with other processes and powers in this world. And there's a part of you that's in connection with the other parts. The thing is, we live in parts, and sometimes those parts are in conflict. But there's a bigger part of you that's able to help unify and make connections between all your parts. And when it comes to relief of pain, relief of anxiety, relief of the various bracing patterns that come up in response to emotion, and emotional bracing patterns, thought bracing patterns, cognitive bracing patterns that come up in response to the feelings in the body, you're able to start to create movement, to undo the bracing patterns that don't need to be there, to relieve some of the physical sensations that tend to armor your ability to feel and to have neurodynamic flow in your system. So what I'm inviting you to do is to recognize yourself at this moment as a process and a power in this world, swirling with movement and life. And from here, I'm going to invite you to do some imagery. If you just wanted to leave it at the meditative process, you can leave it right there. Stop the video. Otherwise, if you'd like to move on, I'm going to invite you now to imagine that there is a box somewhere down in the middle of you. Feel where the middle of you seems to be, and imagine there's a box there with a gift from the bigger part of you that unifies the other parts. Imagine the box is closed for now. And imagine there's a gift in there that you can't yet see. Now I'm going to ask you to pay attention to the size of the box. Is it a big box or is it a small box? If it's a big box, try making it small and dense for a moment. If it's a small box, try making it bigger. Get the size just right, so the image of the box in your mind, or if you don't visualize it, the feeling of the space of the box, until it's just the right size for it to be very interesting. We're going for interest here. Get the size just right so it's as interesting as possible. And then pay attention to the level of colorfulness. Is it rich in color and bright? Is it really noticeable, or is it kind of dark and mysterious, or really matte and plain? Go ahead and adjust the colorfulness. Try making it a little brighter. Try making it a little darker. Just do some changes until the color, the brightness, is as interesting as possible. And as soon as it's as interesting as possible, we'll move on to the next step here. I'm going to invite you now to become aware of the temperature of what's in the box. With this step here, you're partnering with the subcortical regions of the brain. go ahead and just let yourself become aware of the temperature without forcing anything to happen or stopping anything from happening. Just stay with it for a while until you can become very aware of the temperature of what's in the box, whether it's warm, cool, the same temperature of what you're feeling, a neutral temperature. Just go ahead and notice that. For some people, that's really quick. It happens right away. For other people, it takes a while. Just become aware of the temperature. Notice the color, the size, the temperature. Keep on breathing and noticing your body. And now sound. Let there be a sound with the box. Whether it's a sound that arises from the box, some kind of sound that seems to come with the box or around the box, or whether it's some unrelated sound that somehow seems to be associated with the box, just go ahead and allow it to happen similar to the temperature, where you don't force it to happen, you don't stop it from happening, you just notice until it becomes really obvious what the sound is. It's possible also to just notice a very palpable silence that seems to come from the box, whatever it is. Just go ahead and let it arise naturally. Whether it's a vibrational hum, a silence, some sort of a sound that might be associated with a place, just go ahead and let it come up. And then on the count of 3, I'm going to invite you to let the box come open at its own speed and experience what you're going to experience, this gift from within. Just by way of heads up, some people will notice a symbol, an image, a color, a feeling, or all of the above. Every now and again, it takes a while for something to come out of the box, or they have to kind of chase it around in their mind and catch it before they experience it. Sometimes they open up the box, nothing happens, and then the feeling comes later. Either way, this is a gift from within. Whether it's a positive feeling, whether it's a negative feeling that was important to you, this is something very important and useful to you right now. And allow your body to just give you only as much as you're ready to handle right now. So on the count of 3, 1, getting ready to let the box open, 2, getting ready to let it open, and 3, go ahead and let that box come open. Go ahead and partner between the upper level neocortical thinking part of your brain and the subcortical parts. Just go ahead and let that box open at its own speed so you can experience what you're going to experience. Continue to breathe. Notice what comes. If it's a little foreign or strange to you, go ahead and stay with it as long as you can tolerate it. Just breathe and feel. Again, if for some reason it seems to be a bit much for you, you can go ahead and feel the boundaries of your container. Bring your right hand under the arm near the heart, the left hand up on the shoulder, and just breathe and feel. Let yourself experience this. Experience this glorious partnership you can have with the survival subcortical system, the part that's hardwired to manage your body's functions and even take over in the case of extreme danger, and the upper level brain, the part that chooses, decides, directs attention. And I'm going to end this video segment for now. And you can allow yourself to experience what you're going to experience.